The way I describe it to people when people ask me, like, why does he do all these things? Like, what is the motivation here? I go, he's on a mental journey that very few people have ever been on.
If you want to be great, you want to be the baddest motherfucker ever at what you do, you're going to be misunderstood by everybody because you're going to be so fucking obsessed and so driven to get there. That's what it takes.
That's the truth.
It takes every second of your fucking life. Anybody says balance? Yeah, balance is important for a lot of fucking people. It is. But if you want to fucking go to that edge where people do not like you, don't understand you, question everything you fucking do, when you are misunderstood to the point where fucking people think you're psycho and you're nuts and you're this and that, why are you in the fucking gym at 1 o'clock in the fucking morning? You just got through doing an op. You will never understand what is wrong with me.
Real motherfuckers are obsessed with what they do. The people who win the biggest are f***ing obsessed. You cannot argue that.
I hate losing. I mean, it's not even a question. But I mean, I have to respect losing because losing is a part of winning. Yeah. You know, you never just, win. You got to lose to win.
But people don't understand you, they misunderstand you, or they purposely misinterpret the way you're living your life. You're trying to understand your mind in a way that very few human beings ever get to understand their mind.
The process it takes to be number one and stay at number one, you have no idea.
The best ones, the ones that win at the highest level, they are obsessed. It's a huge priority over everything else in their life, and people will sit here and hear, well, that's not healthy. Well, then don't be a winner, man.
Work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100-hour weeks every week. If other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, then even if you're doing the same thing, you know that in 1 year, you will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve.
When people don't understand you anymore, you're in that spot of obsession and drive where people are like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I don't want to talk to you, man, because you're not going to get it.
Because you're taking your mind into these terrible, dark places all the time, and you're trying to pull things out of that.
Everybody wants to sit in your seat until they have to sit in your seat. Very few people understand. Everybody thinks the more you win, the more successful you are. It just makes everything so much easier. And they don't understand the pressures that these individuals put on themselves to continue to perform at the highest level.
I had this childhood, you cannot make it, you're not good enough, you're not accepted. That for me, it burns, because I go against all of those things. And I will demonstrate and I will show you. I always have this saying, why be normal when you can be the best?
But the responsibility is supposed to be yours. Yeah. And if you can't do it, you scratch, claw, and even die trying.
One of the things that really motivates me, or one of my most powerful motivational frames, is thinking about the person that I want to become as the destination.
Life gonna hit you with something that's gonna expose that you skipped that step, right? Now it's up to you how you process it and how you deal with it, but life is always gonna present a situation and circumstance that's gonna expose you if you skip certain steps in the journey, whether it be of healing, of growth, whatever the case may be.
Because you might as well be dead. Seriously, if you always put limits on what you can do, physical or anything else, it'll spread over into the rest of your life. There are no limits, there are only plateaus. A man must constantly exceed his level.
And that's when you just gotta say, you know what? I'm not negotiating with myself. The deal was already made. Deal was made. When I set out at the beginning of the summer and said, this is the training plan I'm doing, I signed that contract with myself, I'm doing it.
And when you have goals that are maybe outside your reach, you have to know that getting to that goal, you're gonna have a lot of bad days. So I had to teach myself how to fail right. When I fail, I can't spend much time in that fail zone. I have to be able to get up and get after the next day just as fast.
You know what's one of the most fucked up things that I've learned over time is that almost all truly exceptional and mentally strong people have been through hell. It's very few that put themselves through hell when life is great. It's just not usually the case.
I want to be bulletproof. I want to be bulletproof in these ways. I want to be bulletproof in my marriage. I want to be bulletproof in my business. And I think about that man, whoever I want him to be. Like we said, hell is when you look at who you could have been and realize that you're not that person. And then I think, if I were to make that man, what would I put that man through to make him who he is? Like, it wouldn't be easy times. It wouldn't be quick wins. It wouldn't even be easy wins. It would be the toil and the struggle of achieving and reaching for things that are right out of grasp, that are right above my threshold, and continuing to do that to lift the weight, to build the muscle, to break it down and do it over and over again, because that's what creates the character traits that are the man that I want to be.
If you go visit the darkness that you've been running from, you'll have the opportunity to leave a better person. You'll have a better understanding of yourself. you'll have a better understanding of your purpose. But if you don't take that trip and the darkness comes visits you, it's a guest that will never leave.
And so when I'm going through those like really harder times, I like to think of like looking in my mental mirror of like, I'm making you. I'm not there yet, but I'm making you.
You have to become obsessed. You have to become obsessed. This has to become an obsession of yours. You know, our obsessions become our possessions. And the truth of the matter is that most of you don't understand the effort, the time, the focus, the obsessiveness that's required to do something great with your life.
You got to do the work. You got to do it when you don't want to do it. You got to do it when you're hurt. You got to do it when you're tired. You got to do it when you're sick. You got to do it when you don't want to do anything else. And you got to do it for years. And that is the real shit.
You see this guy just fighting. I love the fucking guy who just fucking fights. And so I put these things in as reminders that you're gonna have to fucking suffer, man.
The most important thing is that you become the best version of yourself. That is the key. Get better every single day. Are you better today than you were yesterday? If the answer is yes, then you're on the right track.
You want to do something great, you better be great at it. Greatness rises. But you have to get great, and you have to be intentional. You have to be obsessed. And if people knew behind the scenes, this seems very easy, but I know your schedule. I know what you've put into this. I know what the time is. I know what the relentless pace is. I know what the focus is. I know how much you think about it. I know this has to be something that's just infectious, and when people get around you, it emanates, and there's an energy, and there's like, this person's just gonna will this to happen.
Betting on yourself isn't always leaving. Betting on yourself is believing in you. Knowing who you are, what you're worth. Having an idea about it anyway, and willing to work towards that, to validate that reality.
Man, you're gonna have to fucking suffer to go from this fat, insecure motherfucker to one of the best guys on the planet Earth. This journey is gonna take something that is gonna be incomprehensible to most people.
When it's 0 degrees and there's a foot of snow on the ground and you're out there and no one else is out there and you're doing what the takes, and you look around and you can't see another fucking human for miles. You don't see a car, you can't hear anything. How can you not stop and be like, bro, I'm the only one?
And when you have that, you have to be cognizant of your energy. You're always making people feel something, so take control of what they're feeling. And so I think just most people dramatically underestimate the amount of obsessive, crazy, relentless focus it takes to be great at something. Yes. And then they go, well, I don't want to be that out of balance or control. Then you don't want to be great.
Master the 3 W's. You got to want it, you got to work it, then you got to win it. Now, how bad do you want it? Because if you want it bad enough, you're going to work it. Then if you do those two, you're going to win.
Everything was done to try to learn how to become a better basketball player. And so when you have that point of view, then literally the world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
I am the only one paying the price. I am the only one doing what's required. Everybody else is sitting at home eating Doritos, and I am out here in the snow getting better. How can you not be excited about that?
Whatever decision emanates from that is based off of you looking at you and saying, I'm going for it.
A lot of guys don't want to go back into that water. Don't want to go back into the hard stuff. Maybe not anything hard in life. Once you get through it, when something sucks so bad in life, very few people want to go back.
Most things are actually significantly easier than people think they are. They just don't know how to try hard, because the harder that you try, the easier it gets. And so it's like, if you can just learn to love what trying hard feels like, then all of a sudden it becomes unreasonable that you can't win.
I used to think I was at my best when everything was going the way that I wanted it to go. If you'd asked me in my early 20s, man, when are you at your best? I'd have said, man, when things are going the way I want it to go, when things are clicking, like when things are coming together, that's when I'm at my best. But if you ask me the same question at 38, in this season of my life, I feel as if I'm at my best when life presents me situations that I have no control over. It's almost as if it heightens my senses, empathy, compassion, all of those things. It's as if when I have no control over situations and life deals me something, it feels as if I'm at my best as a man.
So sometimes when you think you're making the wrong decision, or you have to making the toughest decision because you're thinking about somebody else and the consequences, if you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret.
The most successful people live urgently. The most successful people are impatient. The most successful people have high expectations of themselves and of the people around them. The most successful people seem unrealistic and unreasonable in their expectations, and the most successful people are competitive.
It's much harder, it takes much longer than what people expect, and for that reason, a lot of people quit before it actually starts to happen for them.
List all the things that you aren't willing to give up for the dreams that you have, and that is what the person who will beat you is willing to give up.
And that bill from regret is generational. And there's a lot of people listening to this that bill has been passed on from generation to generation, and you are holding that bill right now. And somebody in one of your generations has to pay that bill off.
Everyone is jealous of what you've got. No one is jealous of how you got it. People see the trophies, but not the training ground.
Everybody wants the view, but no one wants the climb.
If you want to be in the game, there's going to be wins and there's going to be losses, and you have to take them both in stride. These are all part of being in the game. When you're in the fucking game, great things happen and really bad things happen, and you got to take it all in stride. And you got to pick yourself up the next day, strap your fucking shoes back on, and get out there and go to fucking war again.
Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Commit yourself to learning so that you can get smarter for the days ahead. Those who do the work get the pay. That kind of philosophy. I'm asking you to develop your own personal philosophy. Get your business philosophy going. Get your financial plan going. Don't violate the conclusions of your own philosophy by not executing and taking action.
Motherfucker that's up. There's not a car, there's not a person. Everybody's in their bed, sleep, dreading that it's a Monday. Hate it's a Monday. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Where everybody's getting weaker, I'm getting stronger. It's not about the running, the swimming, the push-ups, the sit-ups. It's about what those things do for your mentality. You don't get better on the daggone couch. You get better by coming out here and getting the fuck after it every daggone day. The first thing to understand is that people see the world through their aim. When you hear the story of someone's life, you actually hear a description of their aim. So now you specify the aim. The first thing that happens is that once you specify the aim, the pathway appears. Everything that you encounter as an obstacle on that pathway elicits negative emotion. And everything that you encounter that facilitates movement forward evokes positive emotion. One of the corollaries of that is no aim, no positive emotion.
You get to decide who you are. The things that dictate our lives are our beliefs. Your life is as good as you believe it's going to be. I think a 95% of life is how you look at it, and 5% is what happens to you. So the idea that you go, what are you going to believe? Well, most of our beliefs, the beliefs that really affect us, are the presuppositions that we make. We don't even think about them. We just think it's, oh, I'm not the kind of person that does that. And then you allow yourself at some stage, you go, well, fuck that. I'm going to allow myself to dream or to try and be more than.
The stress is okay to feel in adversity. It's where the stress leads you that you need to avoid. You need to prevent the stress from being strong enough to make you avoid adversity in the first place. If you start to feel stress about adversity, I think diving right into it is like the secret for growth.
You got to want it first, then you got to work it, then you have the opportunity to win it. But it all starts with your want. You got to want this. I can't want this for you. You got to want this like no other. Then the work has to happen. And see, the work and the want got to add up together to want each other. Then that puts you in a position to win. Ain't nobody giving you no W. You got to go take that thing, man.
I think the thing that people misunderstand about success is they're looking for the easiest way to get there. Look at the most successful people in the world. They're the most coachable.
You're afraid that if you put your heart and soul into it and you fail, then how are you going to feel about yourself, right? So being fearless means putting yourself out there and going for it. No matter what, go for it. Not for anybody else, but for yourself.
So if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, you don't care enough about yourself. And that's what you need to really research is, man, why am I not doing this for myself? Because that is the number one purpose in life, is to better oneself.
If you frame a personal challenge as an opportunity to overcome and improve yourself, these things that seem so horrible are actually very positive components of your existence. And they're gonna make you better. Because you're sad, now you're gonna make a bunch of bad decisions because you're sad. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You're sad, okay. You get emotional sometimes, okay. Got it. Now, get control of your emotions and carry on with your life. And sometimes you're gonna get hit with those waves, and that's okay. Oh, I'm having an emotional moment right now. There's something wrong with me. No, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you.
Worrying is like paying a debt that you don't owe. And that's it. It's not just the discomfort of the thing that you're going to have to do. It's the 50 times that you think about that thing. Fear is an inch deep and a mile wide. So when you look at it, it looks like a huge ocean that's going to cause you to drown. But when you step in it, you realize it's just it's really shallow and you're going to survive.